St. Vincent. God's mercy.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for an album review, the new St. Vincent LP. St. Vincent is singer-songwriter Annie Clark, as far as I can tell, former member of the Polyphonic Spree, and this is her third album under this name, Strange Mercy. The LP she came out with in 2009, Actor, this was not one of my favorite albums of the year. But that's only because in 2009 I sucked at reviewing music, and now I only suck at it a little bit less. But after going back to that album and giving it a deeper listen, and then listening to this thing, they're such different albums to me. Let me know if you think the opposite, but for me, Actor is kind of a very friendly record. It's a very approachable record. Tracks like Actor Out of Work stick out as being especially noisy, and that's the kind of direction that this album moves in. Strange Mercy is a weirder St. Vincent album, but it hasn't lost the beauty that makes St. Vincent's music so good. It's kind of turned into this odd, mutant beauty. Now pretty much all of these tracks function on a verse-chorus-verse thing. It's an artsy pop album, but there's like equal attention paid toward making these songs catchy and also making them kind of surprising. Take the biggest single to come from this LP, Cruel. The track just opens up with these gorgeous string arrangements, like closing credits at the end of a Disney movie gorgeous. It sounds like a fairy tale with a fantastic beat. But there's this really dark undertone to the song with the lyrics, and not only that, but the solo, the guitar solo in this, it's so ugly and distorted and just like broken sounding. It's this intentional blemish on this really pretty song. That song and the rest of the songs on here are just so like two-faced. They're really easy to get into, but they'll turn right around and just sort of like fly a freak flag. I think my favorite song on here though is Dilettante. And that song might be my favorite just because of how weird it feels. The drums are like stumbling, they're stuttering, like they're trying to get going but they can't, and they're moving at this slow pace, and I'm just like on the edge of my seat waiting for them to go faster, waiting for them to do something, but yet they just hang back here and they play so sparsely. And then all of a sudden just this rush of distorted guitar and bass and piano just all hitting keys syncopated at once. It's poppy and it's sweet, but yet again it's like so harsh and abrasive. It's like something I'd hear on a Grinder Man record or like a Tom Waits record. I mean, throwing all these really noisy elements, these glitchy electronics too, especially on the 5th track, Northern Lights, which I love. It just feels like really liberating to me. Things don't have to be just pretty or just harsh and abrasive. They can be both. Now this LP swings over to the softer side of things as well, but it stays really alluring and it stays pretty weird too. The title track, I love the title track on here. It's just really stark and cold and kind of painful. Surgeon has a really weird synthesizer landscape hanging in the background, and I love how kind of robotic and mesmerizing the hook is on that track with the weird guitar leads, and it just there are morbid lyrics on this track about being cut open, and that's one of the many darker lyrical moments that will buzz by you if you're just wrapped up in the music, which I can understand because there's a lot going on musically on this album. A lot of layers, a lot of subtleties, a lot of things you're going to pick up with multiple listens. But lyrics like Convinced It Was the End of Times and Sharks Swimming in the Red, no matter what kind of flavor or sound that a song is going for on this album, that dark outlook is one of the few strings that run through all the tracks. I thought Actor was a really colorful album, but this thing brings out way more color. And not only that, but the songs on here feel a little more polarized in that the more depressing moments are more depressing, and the brighter, louder, noisier moments come off even more bold. And that's a word I have to kind of bring it back to. Bold. I would use that word to sum up a description of this album. It is pretty bold. It's got some very strong instrumentation surrounding these tracks. It's got some strong vocals in a time when really light, weak singers with not that much range are praised left and right in the indie community. My only real gripe with this LP is there's a handful of tracks that do not come off as flamboyant or adventurous to me, like the track Neutered Fruit. It's a fine song, but it kind of ends up sounding like a more pleasant version of a track from Dirty Projector's Bit of Orca. Aside from a few tracks that I just think are okay, I can't say much negative about this album. It pretty much does a perfect tightrope walk of being experimental and catchy. It was really easy to get into, and yet I don't feel like I'm listening to something sugary, dumbed down, or simple. And most importantly, it was just fun to listen to. I think even Calcichesta had a fun time.
I can't really say much. I'm not religious.
Well, there you go. Feeling a light to decent 8 on this. Loved it. Thought it was really good. I recommend it, which is why I'm making a video doing that. What do you think of it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Why? And what do you think I should review next? Thanks for watching. Anthony Fantano, St. Vincent, Strange Mercy, forever.